Okay, we got folks in here now. We're ready to rock and roll. Okay, cool. So let me pull this up over here. And then I don't need ChatGPT now. We're ready to rock and roll, folks. Okay, so let me get my screen up. Nicole, how are you? All right, let's get this going. Present the mundo. All right. We got 19 kitties in here, rocking and rolling. Typical post-pandemic. Can you see my screen? Can everyone see my wonderful presentation here? Yes, beautiful. So we're talking about boosting. Oh, we got so many people rolling in. Did my internet just kick in? What's going on, folks? We're talking about boosting Amazon CVR fast with our template with PickFu. You guys know I talk historically about CTR. Well, this is the next thing is the CVR. You want to have the conversion. You want people to actually buy. So what are we going to talk about today? We're going to talk about why CVR is the real growth lever, right? Where most listings lose the sale. That's the big thing. So if you're a full service agency, if you're a creative agency, or even if you're a PPC only agency, you listings are losing sales. And we'll pull up some examples. The actual listing review template, yeah, definitely drop questions. Don't be shy. You guys know me, most of you. Don't be shy around here. And what shoppers actually think, because that's important. Because you don't want to design or build or optimize in a vacuum. It's never going to parlay well. And then making testing a repeatable habit. Habits are good. There's some bad habits, but PickFu is not a bad habit. Okay, so CVR. Traffic is easy, conversion is everything. Yes, I say that like I'm competing. I wrote these slides. Yes, that's true, right? Conversion is really the be all end all sale because you can get all the clicks you want, but if you don't get the sale, you need to have the conversion. So boosting CVR lifts the ROAS, the tacos, and profitability. So the worst thing is how many folks in here, you don't have to say what agency if you don't want, but typically work with a rev share component when working with clients, whether it be, well, that's probably gonna be full service agencies. Most creative agencies, it's usually project based, but just throw a pizza emoji in here if you have clients where there's a rev based percentage inside of your terms or engagement with them. The reason why is because when your client's conversion rate increases, well, they make more money. And then if you have a rev share component built in, well, you make more money. Make sense? So most agencies fix ads before fixing listings. Let's flip that. Yes, that is very, 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 very stressful to do. To You can't fix ads before you fix your listing. Imagine if you have a really rundown house, but you go to Zillow and you optimize the heck out of the Zillow listing because you're going to sell it and you doctor it up and make it look great. But in reality, you didn't fix the house. So people are going to go there. They're going to be like, ooh, this looks great. They're going to see that. And then they're going to get outside and be like, what is this? This is not what it is. And they're not going to convert either. They're not going to buy that house. So where CVR is made or lost? So the web question, how to get clients for Amazon agency? That's not going to be on this call, but that's an interesting question. You get clients by putting yourself out there in marketing. So that's a marketing question. So put yourself out there, LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube, all that kind of stuff. Where CVR is made or lost. So the template right here gives you shopper insights on key levers, right? So this is not talking about the main hero image, even though the main hero image does have a play in CVR, right? But they have to have seen it first to click on it. So just a little bit. But secondary image stack, A plus content brand story, bullet points, lifestyle infographics and clarity, and overall first impressions and confidence to buy. So is it a good listing? Is it telling me everything that I need to know? So cool. Let me go here. And what we're going to do over here is pull up the template. So this is it right here. So you could see it's a pre-canned kind of thing. It makes it super, super easy. And what it's going to do, it's best for Amazon sellers or brands, open-ended poll, and it's 50 Amazon Prime subscribers built into it, right? Now, as an example, of what that looks like before we get into some real world examples. It's going to please visit the Amazon listing, and you can change this, right, based on context. What questions do you have about viewing this listing? So you see this one's going to 50 USA-based respondents that are homeowners and Prime subscribers. Now the PickFu respondents are going to get this link, and the reason why this is going to affect conversion and not CTR or click-through rate is because they're actually getting to see the entire PDP for this. So they're not just seeing the main image, they're going to click on it and they're going to see the title, the price, the bullets, all these images here. You guys know what a product detail page looks like. So they're giving all that kind of feedback. So they may think, cool, I want to click on that flashlight, but that's not going to help you for conversion. They might come here and be like, oh, well, 6 hours? I wanted it for 8 hours. Or, oh, what is a smart design, right? What does that mean? That is not clear to me. Or they're looking at the images and they're saying, well, how do I charge it? Is it battery based? Is it USB-C? Like, what is it? That's going to help you say, oh, aha, wait a minute. We forgot to put the fact that it's battery based or, AAA batteries, or it's a USB-C. This is Anchor. So, even the big folks forget to optimize, right? Now, when you're inside here, and this is the example we have here on our template page, you're going to see the responses. There's no like this or that. It's giving open-ended. So we're getting all that context down here. So how good is the warranty, and will they replace it right away? Interesting. If there is a warranty, we forgot to put the infographic in there to help with conversion, because that's clearly what people are looking for. I'd like to know why I'm only offered one color. All right, seems to be colors are important, or colorways. Why is it so expensive? It's actually a good question, right? So when you take a look at something like this, it's $39 for a flashlight. Is kind of expensive compared to other stuff that's out there. So from a conversion standpoint, this listing is not telling them why we're better than the competition, right? See, setting realistic expectations is a big thing. I highly doubt that she's going to be able to contact ET at nighttime by shining this light in the sky, right? A better version of this is, hey, we're this product, don't say at a $39 price point, but typically versus the competition, we last X amount of hours. We're 20,000 lumens brighter. I'm making up something. We're water resistant. They're not. We're this. So you have to, it's okay to be a higher price point, but it's clear from the PickFu data that this person is not understanding the value behind why it's so expensive. And that's a problem for conversion. Now, given, you can see as I highlight over this kind of stuff, we're seeing the demographics over here. So you see this is a 55 to 64-year-old female, associate degree level education, white, 0 to 30K income. So data needs to be actionable data, right? So for something like this, we might not think that that matters too much, even though this does, of why it's so expensive. But the income is a 0 to 30K. So is that technically our ICP, or our intended client customer profile, for a $39 flashlight? Probably not. I want to know how expensive it is to replace the battery. It's a great question. I'd like to know, how do I charge it? What is the battery? How does the flashlight charge? There's no picture showing me how it's charging, right? And this is somebody that's doing 61 to 100K income. This is ICP level, right? For that price point. So you can see so far 3 different responses are talking about the charging. How heavy is it compared to others? So there's no real comparison inside here. So it's really, really good to get this. Now, if you didn't have this information and you went solely on your in-house designers and looking at other listings, you might miss that. Even big, look at this. And it's great. By the way, Adrian in the back, it's great that we have Anchor over here with a not so hot listing. Anchor's a monster company, and they themselves are not doing best practice over here, right? So this could definitely be better. Now, when I take a look over here, I went ahead and I ran some examples. Let's take a look at that. So taking a look at this over here, right? This is a listing that's doing, link to the template, folks. We're gonna get some good. We have some goodies coming up. So stay locked in, because you're gonna get some goodies. I always come bearing gifts. My mother taught me well. So this listing is doing about 105K every 30 days at a $69 price point for this watch. So is it saying everything? Before I get to the PickFu results, is it saying everything? So ultra long battery life. Well, I can't really read. That's 280 milliamp. And is that good? A lot of that's not really clear. 5 satellite positioning systems. That's features over benefits. Benefit to that would be, hey, you can go from here to Tennessee and back, and we'll have you covered. I don't know what that means. 24/7 heart rate, SpO2, plus stress monitor. Can't read any of this down here, especially for mobile. She looks like she's modeling a jacket, not that. 5 ATM water resistance. Again, features over benefits. 120 sports modes. So everything that I'm looking at right now is for the conversion. Health-centered ZEP OS doesn't mean anything to me. So now coming down to the bullet points, strong and accurate GPS, extended 14-day battery life. Okay, cool. Are they all 14 days? So what's the competition doing? Are they only doing 7 days? Well, then that makes sense why you're a value. Okay, going down here, take a look at the brand story module. So is this a 1P offering? Yeah. So with 1P, they're going to have a little bit of a different kind of thing. So Amaze fit this, colors. See, stuff like this is very stylistic for your D2C website if the brand has one. This is all dead pixel space to merchandise and tell me why. I'm never going to click on a video on a listing. So 14 days, cool. 30 days clock mode. So 5 GPSs. Does that mean I can only go like 3 blocks? It's not clear. And the reason I'm doing this, I'm not doing an ace and teardown, but I want to show you guys as a regular customer what someone may be looking for. And convenience is on the cards, memberships, again, things that might not be important to people. Cool. So now let's go back to the poll. So here we go right here. Cool. Still running because we ran this one a little bit earlier, but 44 out of 50 so far. And Adrian, I think it was like less than an hour ago. So it's really, really snappy. So how does this watch charge, and does it come with a charger? Well, that's wild that it doesn't even say that. And I didn't even think about that, but that's 100% a good point. They missed the fact that it doesn't really tell you how this thing charges. That's a problem. I wonder how different this is, better than Apple Watch. Can't really say that, but you can say how you are to competitors. So most watches in the space are 7 days, we're 14 days. What phone is it compatible with? Is it easy for me to tell time? Can I fix it easy? Is durable. Durability is a good one, especially for this. So after reading through the comments and reviews, the accuracy of the step tally, after viewing it, I don't have any questions. Okay, so that person was okay with it. That's a 45 to 54-year-old female, 150K plus. The listing feels detailed, don't have any additional questions, which is interesting because you could see how some folks don't have any other questions, but the one that I first read was like, well, how do you charge it? And sometimes the most simplest things are the most important things because that would be a concern for me as well. How reliable is the data? How long it would last? So you can see all this kind of data in here. What is the brand's credibility? How does it use my data? Data security and privacy is a big thing. For me, I don't trust anyone besides Apple with data, especially stuff like that. So I would have some privacy concerns. Let's see here. My main question is, can I make calls or text messages? Okay, does it need extra support? So you can see all that kind of good stuff in there. Now, let's say you want to take a high level look at it. Well, I just want to look at the demographic report. Sometimes this is a good one just to really get like that bird's eye view. So now looking over here, I see a lot of people that are in arts and crafts, right? That are respondents over here. I see home ownership, right? This is homeowners versus renters so far. Household income range. So we're getting pretty much a good split, but a portion of it is going to be 75 to 150K. So you could see it gets super, super granular with this kind of stuff. And the AI highlights, which is still running because the poll's still running. But yes, any questions so far, guys? I'm going to go back over here so we can go through this. Cool. So I told you I come bearing gifts. Pizza emoji. I'm going to be one of those cheesy YouTubers. Pizza emoji, if you're happy about this. Use this code right here to try the Amazon listing review template for free. There we go. Free 99, goose egg from me and Adrian and PickFu to you guys. Because we want to show you guys how easy it is for your conversion, right? You want to make it very, very simple. Now, you could be using this, and we talk about this in a second too, using this for current clients, for prospecting new clients, for all these kind of things. People, clients, they love to see data. When you're a service provider, you can't just write pizza. You got to put the pizza emoji. Just kidding. When you're a service provider, inherently, no matter who you are, people just won't trust you. Using the PickFu data helps put that to the side because they can't avoid the data, right? So the code try is good for 2 uses per user, expires in a week. Ooh, 2 uses. Wow. Getting fancy over here. Okay, so most listings fail at CVR because they lead with features, not outcomes. I say this all the time, features over benefits. Nobody cares if this mouse has, 2.8 gigahertz of click technology inside, whatever that is. They do care how long it's going to last. It's going to let them work throughout the entire day, right? So battery life compared to how they can use it through the whole day. So when we talk about 280 milliamp battery, it means nothing. But like using your watch from waking up to when you go to bed, you're covered. Well, that means something. That's a tangible thing that someone can relate to. So you always want to talk about features over benefits. One time I saw a blender where they were talking about triple carbide tip blade that rotates at 7 bajillion RPMs. My wife is looking at it and said, "What? Are we building the time machine?" You don't want to say that kind of stuff always. You do want to have it in the tech specs, but saying blade so sharp, you'll make crushed ice in seconds and puree soup within minutes, whatever it is. That means more to people on Amazon. So image stacks are redundant, not sequential. So just putting things randomly, it doesn't make sense, right? You're not just going to put, like, for example, when we were looking at the one for the light, I just saw people holding flashlights every single image. Like, show me more. Show me something that's going to make more sense. Show me in the daytime what that looks like if I'm searching around my house, and then at nighttime, how much brighter does it get? A plus feels like a brochure, not a buying journey. Yes, you want people to see the whole thing. Your clients are selling solutions to problems. Hopefully they're in a need to buy, not a want to buy, right? When you need to buy something, when you're going on Amazon to buy, it's like, oh crap, I lost my USB-C data cable. I got to get another one, right? It's never like, I'm bored. Let me go look for USB-C data cable. It doesn't happen like that. So now they're looking for a solution to the problem, and you, as the solution or service provider, have to create the listing that's going to say, hey, we know you need a new USB-C cable. Your old one probably broke because it's crappy, this, that, and the third. Here's ours. We don't want to talk about the fact that it's triple braided and whatever it is. Built to last from in the car to in the bag to in here. Make it make sense. They fail because there's no story, no clarity, no emotion. It's huge. I can't imagine. I literally saw an A plus the other day where it was somebody in the medical field, and it was something to do with like a phone or a device or a handheld, and it was like for emergencies, and the person was using it, and they looked like this. Like he looked bummed out that he was on the phone, and it made me bummed out when I was looking at the listing because he should look relieved and happy that he has that phone that is in case of emergencies or whatever it is, right? So making it make sense is a really big thing. So bullet points equals keyword stuffing, not conversion copy, right? I can go either way on this, right? I'm a big proponent of text is for robots, images are for humans, but there are people, especially for like higher ticket, more technical items, they will go and look at the bullet points to make sure that that monitor has the proper refresh rate and all that other kind of stuff. You'll see this a lot sometimes with like cell phone accessories. It'll be like, this will work with iPhone 16, 16 Pro, 16 Pro Max, 15, 15 Pro, 15 Pro Max, all that kind of stuff. Then it gets too much. We talk about the solution, right? So test your entire detail page in one go. Upload your listing. PickFu shows it to real Amazon Prime shoppers. I want to stress that again because I was talking to someone earlier today and how I'm up all hours of the night running PickFus, you know me. And I was up at 3 a.m. and I ran a poll and it took a little bit longer than a typical one. And then I realized, well, no one's up at 3 a.m., right? Especially in that targeted thing that I was doing. And I was like, oh man, I want the poll now. But then I realized that, well, it's good that I'm not getting this back right away because it's confirming the fact that they're real people that are responding to these PickFus. Because if I got a 50-person poll back at 3 o'clock in the morning within minutes, I'd start to wonder exactly what those responses are. You get their gut reactions and buyer confidence check. You really do. Like as the one we just took a look at with the smartwatch over there. I look at thousands of listings. I didn't even realize they don't show the friggin' charger and how you charge it, which is a super important thing for someone with an electronic device. So inside the results we took a look at, you'll learn where shoppers get confused. It's a big thing. It's a big problem. So Rusa says that's the best thing to check consumer behavior. Yeah, it is, because I'm going to pull up a live listing too. Where shoppers get confused, what makes them trust or not, right? So if you're showing, we're in the world of AI, and if you lean into too much AI images and it looks like a very AI thing, there's going to be a big distrust there. Because if someone starts to call you out, and that's a good gut check too, where it's like, we use AI for this image, but does it really look like AI? And then the PickFu respondents will call you out on it. And that's good, because then you'll be like, all right, we got to fix this. What they notice first and what they ignore, whether they buy or not. So you get the quantitative buyer confidence scores, 50 qualitative comments, yes, no buyer intent. So let me hop back over here, because I want to show you guys this, right? So I did this one. This was the example that I did. And I'm going to check it. It's still at this, right? Because I did it late last night. So you're going to see that I did construction industry professionals. So when you're targeting certain people, it's not always going to be 1, 2, 3, but that's a good thing, right? So when I go to Amazon, right? Let's do this here. I'm going to let the folks out there, whoever types in first, I'll do it. Just type a category, and I want to pull up a SERP and take a look at a listing. Anyone, first one to do it wins. I don't know what you win, but just give me a category. Give me a random product, and not Adrian. Oh, see, I got you guys triggered now. Oil pastels. I don't even know what that is. Beauty, protein powder, supplements. I do all that kind of stuff anyway. Let's do oil pastels, because I don't even know what that is. Oh, now I know. I never bought this for my kids because my whole house would look like one big Picasso. Okay, so when we go over here, right, let's just pick a random one that's doing good volume, this one. What you're doing is you're getting the gut check for this on why choose us. Is that good enough? Do people like seeing the scribbles, or is it better to show a round icon for the color? You see how it gets truncated right here after the first 5, and then it goes down here? Well, what happens if you have something that's really, really compelling for conversion below where it gets truncated? Then you'd want to move that up, right? If you notice that, hey, let's say on this one, we say that it's let's say it didn't really say 48 pieces or 48 colors, right? But we made it really clear in the second to last image, or the last or second to last image, something buying, converting, and very powerful. And we noticed that people kept on asking questions about it. Well, it's clear when the PickFu panelists went to this, they didn't click on the 2+. So if you know that information's there and you're like, wait a minute, it's there. Well, they didn't see it and they missed it. So you have to make it easy for them to make that purchase. I always tell people when I go to like Target or Walmart, I don't go to the self-checkout. I don't work there. I'm not here to work. Amazon buyers are not there to work. They want to just go and get what they need. So especially over here, if there's any sort of variations, is your variation or is your client's variation easy to purchase? You're going to see that as well too, where they're going to say, well, I didn't know that the variation, the options were too confusing. Like this one, there's all these different things, but then there's black and white. But we're talking about, is this colors or pieces? I'm already confused. So let's go down here. So they may have questions where it's like, okay, well, I want to see the final result. I want to see, what's the carrying case look like? Is there a carrying case? Is this a carrying case? And then the brand story module, right? So sometimes brand story modules are above or below A+ with certain things. But what happens if you put something super compelling in one of the carousels or one of the modules in the brand story module, and they don't see that? So any sort of deficits, if it's not there, you want to put it there. And if it is there, you need to move it around to make it make sense to help with the conversion. Does that make sense? I hope so. I'm hoping not just another silly goose over here. Okay. So I say a lot, agencies are using it. Agencies like you folks. Anyone using PickFu right now in their outbound prospecting, cold outbound reach? drop a smiley face emoji. Very interactive. Because if you're not, then yeah, if you're not, then you are leaving money on the table. That's a problem, right? So that's the last one over here, pitch decks. See, show what other agencies aren't doing. So what you're doing is typically on discovery calls or cold outbound reach or anything like that, you do this. Hey, Mr. Brand, so and so, love your product. Pull up share screen, take a look at it. Notice this, notice this, notice that. Here, so we can help you fix that. Typically, how it goes. But then when you pepper in the PickFu, because they don't trust you because they don't know you. But then when you pepper in consumer data insights and research, well, now you're taking your recommendations and you're pointing out the deficits and problems and you're reinforcing your decision and your recommendation with what consumers are looking for. Then you look like the pro. Then you look like the go-to extreme. That's why that's going to help because typically on sales calls, no one trusts anyone. I don't trust you. I don't know you. I clicked here. I thought it was compelling. I don't know. So client onboarding, diagnose before suggesting changes. That's a big thing too, where you're bringing on a new client on board and you send it over to your design team and your design team goes, okay, cool, we'll change some images, we'll do this, we'll do that. Well, you don't know it's changed because you don't know why it's working or why it's not working. Or your design team might change something that they think is not working, but that was the biggest thing that was working, right? And why people were converting and they remove it and they tank the listing. Post redesign validation, prove the new version works. That's huge because there's so many times, and I know you guys, you're a bunch of agencies, you're not gonna comment on this kind of stuff. But there's so many times when I worked at an agency and a listing was redone that the client or the brand would be very antsy. Like, okay, we just changed it. 2 days later, it's still not working. Revert the old one back. Do the old one. I'm scared. I'm nervous. This is my hero product. This is the flagship. This was the Mona Lisa. Like, you can't do that. This is going to help you say, hang on, we did everything. We redesigned it based on consumer data. It's going to work. So quarterly reviews, use before and after test results to show value, right? So you're giving them that additional verification, like, hey, we let this rock for 90 days, and here's what happened. Here's what it was before, and here's where it is now, right? So technically, at that point, when you're doing it, you should be getting a ton of, I know everything I need to know about this listing. I'm good to go. Where do I buy? So real example breakdown, I jumped the gun. I did that. Let's do another one too, because I don't want to break up the flow of here. Next one, first to win, give me another category. Let's do it again. And then we're gonna actually run it through the poll. We're gonna see who's gonna do it. Give me a category, quick, go. No pet food, no supplements, no protein powder. Desks, cool. Like that. We all use them one, hopefully. All right, desks. So standing desks, let's do, okay? Furniture, Shim. I don't even know what that is. Okay, so let's do a standing desk. Let's do one that, we'll just grab anyone over here. So let's pick, I want to be nice and not click on sponsored ads right here. Cool. Apparently this person needs to know the time 3 different ways over here. So $104, 2,000 sold in the last 30 days. Taking a look at this over here. And let me just make sure it has A+ content. It does. It's not that bad. It's very, very basic. But let's run it. Okay, cool. So we're going to go here. We're going to go to the template. I'm going to use the template. Okay. Go back to my Firmax. Sounds like something for dogs, Firmax. Grab the URL. We're going to go over here. Here we are. Okay. So please visit the Amazon listing. What questions you have after viewing this listing? You can change that. You can click right here over here and then just edit it whatever you need to if you want to give it additional context. So you could say, please visit this Amazon listing of a standing desk. You don't have to, but it just helps to give it a little bit more context, right? And you could save like that. So open-ended, add the URL, just like that. Even if you send the URL, when it's one of those giant URLs, it's fine because the person, it's going to get hyperlinked, so it doesn't matter. So you can see the 50 people in the US are already pre-baked out in there, and Amazon subscribers already baked out. So then you're picking on a target trait. So you're picking one trait inside here. I would say something like this. You could say homeowner, renter. If it's a higher price point, you can go on income. You can do work industry, right? So maybe someone, maybe you just want to target people that are full-time employed, or if you want to talk about professional and business services, right? Just understand that when you get granular like this, um, quickness and speed and time and all that kind of stuff. But we can just put it at income, right? So maybe I don't want the feedback of people that are 0 to 35K because at $104 for a desk, maybe that's out of their range and they're going to give me feedback that's not really actionable because they're never going to buy it anyway. I'm just saying, right? Um, so let's do 35 to 75K, right? So now I have 50 people in the US who are Prime subscribers and they make 35 to 75K income households. Going to go over here to preview, and this is a preview beforehand to see exactly what it's going to look like. So this is what they're going to see, and you see how it's hyperlinked over here. They're going to click that, all that kind of good stuff. Check out, and we're going to rock and roll. Don't be jealous of my PickFu credits. I saw you. Don't be jealous. Okay, so you're going to see over here, we're going to hop back into the presentation, and they say Christmas only comes once a year. I love that. Okay, cool. So let's hop back into this as we let that run, and we'll head back to that in a second. So make it a habit, not a Hail Mary. That's big because you don't want to run one 200 person respondent poll and call it a day. You want to run 4 or 5 30-person polls because you want to ask different questions, different context, different this, different that. Nicole says, is there a way to test PDP Creative before it's published to Amazon? Yeah. Not in this test, but I'll show you how to do that in a second. Let me just show you now. Otherwise, I'm going to forget. Okay. So when you say PDP Creative, Nicole, are you talking about A plus content or A plus content and image stack? Because when it's not live on Amazon, you would have to do A plus content and then separately the images for the image stack. But you wouldn't be able to use this template though. But you could still use PickFu. So let me show you how you do that. Okay. So over here, I would go onto new poll. And what you'd want to do when testing PDP Creative, let's say, for example, it's A plus content. Um, do you want to test it against iterations of itself, or do you want to test it against competition or something that's live right now, right? Well, I'll show you both. So if you're doing one against the other, you're doing a head-to-head. So you would say over here, when shopping on Amazon for protein powder, that's what I go to, which listing content would which listing content would you be inclined to purchase from the most and why, right? And then what you would do over here is drag and drop your A plus content in one image. And I'll show you exactly how I would do that, even if it wasn't live. So if I'm talking about protein powder, and let's say I wanted to pull this one, right? I have a screenshot tool that I use all the time called CleanShot. It's for Macs only. So if you don't have a Mac, I don't know what else you could do. But what I would do then is do this, auto scroll. And then what it's going to do, it's going to capture the A plus over here. So it's going to keep on going and stop right there. So now I have that. And then I can bring that back into here. So I could upload that. So you see it's like a longer screenshot over here, like that. And then you would then take yours and screenshot it the same way. So if you're using Canva to design, Photoshop, Figma, you would just do that and then capture it. And then now we're talking about just looking at the A plus content versus the A plus content for this. Um, and again, even if you have yours not live, this is a good way to get your competitors not live so you can compare them one against the other. But let's say I had in Canva one, the same kind of long screenshot, you would do the same thing for that. So this is a good way to do testing items that aren't live and up on Amazon versus iterations of themselves, and then iterations of them versus the competition that's up there. Does that make sense? I just want to make sure I answered Nicole's question, if that was cool. Cool. What screenshot app is that? It's Clean Shot. So Clean Shot does everything. If you guys see the videos I put out there, I record all the videos on Screenshot. It's a scrolling screenshot. The cool thing about this too, when paired with PickFu, is that you can, when you're doing like my favorite test, which is like the SERP click test, you can screenshot this over here. And then I can have that, and now I can just edit it and redact whatever I don't want. So let's say we just want to do it like that, or where would you click and why? You may get people clicking on the cheapest one. You may get people clicking because it has the most sold. But if you just want to redact that and just showcase the creative only, you can blur that out. But then also, what if you want the creative plus a little bit of the title, or the creative title and then maybe not the reviews, right? And maybe just the price. So a lot of cool things. Paste the name in the chat. Yeah, it's called Clean Shot. Make sense? Cool. Okay, so let me close that out. And we will go back to my epic presentation. Okay. So again, run this template before listing revamps. You want to do it. You want to run it before you revamp a listing. So you want to have the data as to how you can make it better, right? We're not talking about comparing it to anyone else, but just for 1 second, work in a vacuum. What do people not know about this listing? So we need to make this one better. You're running this. Use it monthly on top SKUs? Absolutely. Including results in every client quarterly? Yes. Layer into creative reviews, image stack, A plus direction? Yes. Every brand has a blind spot. Testing helps reveal it. I can't stress this enough. I got to exit this again because I really want to hammer this home. Guys, the example that we have here is Anchor. Anchor is a monster company and they have deficits in this listing, right? So it's not, oh, it's a really huge company and they're crushing it. They're doing 100,000 units a month. Well, they could be doing 130,000 units if we just fix this one little thing over here. So don't let that kind of stuff fool you. Okay. So other templates for CVR, a lot of other cool ones out there. So we have the product page comparison. So who is it, Nicole? Nicole, this is the good one for if you're testing two live listings against each other, right? So what Nicole's initial question was if it's not live. So the product page comparison is you're putting PDP URL here, PDP URL here, and then why would you pick one? So you're getting a full conversion. It's not just the hero and the hero, and where would you click? They're seeing the full Jamboree and understanding why. And that's a template too. So that's great. That's already fully baked out. And you just type in the product type inside there and you're ready to rock and roll. The image stack one over here, find the best order for it. That does help with conversion. Like I said, if you have the really compelling image buried below where it gets truncated and you find that, oh, well, it's there, no problem. But when you run the PickFu, if people don't see it, they're like, well, where the heck is the milliamp hours? It's there. Well, it gets truncated at the bottom and they have to click more to see it. You'll find that people aren't clicking more and they're having a hard time seeing it. So that's definitely going to affect for conversion as well. Cool. We're going to hammer this code home. So use the code. Adrian, put the code in again. We're going to hit them with the code. The template's here. We'll send out, I think, this deck, right, Adrian, afterwards, along with the recording, maybe, possibly. It's good for 2 uses per user, expires in 1 week. Oh, as soon as Justin Timberlake says it's going to be May, it's going to be over. So you want to use it. Cool. And hey, it shouldn't be in here if you're not part of the agency program. No, I'm kidding. But if you're not part of the agency program, we're going to send this out to you to join the club here. Already a member, but not PickFu certified. My cat jumped onto something very high. Email Evan at pickfu.com. Evan is the goatee over there for agencies and affiliates. Super easy. You want to get PickFu certified. The link is right there. You want to do it. You get into the directory. You just do it. What does it cost you, Adrian? Adrian's going to tell you how much it costs you. You're going to see how expensive and how much value it is. How much it costs, Adrian? $3.99. So tell me more about why you're not doing this, please. Thank you. Oh, I love the animation over there. That's me, folks. John Aspinall, Aspinall at pickfu.com. John at pickfu.com is taken. That's one of the bosses. Can't take his email. Anyone have any questions before we depart? I said depart like we're some sort of military group. But yes, that is the, let me go and grab him 1 second. Hang tight. Got a little guest over here. That's it. He's eating a bug. That's gross. But yes, can we ask marketing questions? No, not really marketing questions because PickFu, we don't do marketing and stuff like that. But any questions about PDPs, conversion rate, optimization rate, click-through rate, anything like that before we let you guys go and get a head start on Friday Junior? That was my cat, yes. He was hunting wasps. I live in New York City. I don't know why I have cats that hunt wasps. But yes, awesome. Happy to do it. Same thing next month. I don't know what topic we're going to do for May, but appreciate you guys for coming in. We want to give more and more value. As you can see, we're giving out that code to use that twice. I didn't even know it was twice. It's great. Email us if you have any topic requests. Yes, we definitely want to see that for sure. Ping us, LinkedIn, Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube, all that kind of good stuff. Appreciate all you guys for all your support. And I know that you guys will love using PickFu. It would help you make more money, your clients more money, all that kind of good stuff. See you guys next month.